I spent 40 years in the industry as a computer specialist, information systems as such, and I worked for one company for over half of that. During that time with them, I started out doing basic programming in the United States. We had 4 distribution centers, and I was a distribution specialist. So I got pretty darn good at enough that they decided I could go overseas and start setting up their distribution software for the company as we were expanding for our client. So this got to be kind of interesting. And along the way, because I spent so much time overseas, there were a few incidents of getting sick. And some were kind of minor, but a little interesting in that, for one case, I was in France, and I came down with a really bad infection in my lungs, and they said, well, we'll send you to a doctor. Well, I go to the doctor, who's private practice, which is not kind of normal over there. And she was at her home, she was working in the garden. She came in, she cleaned her hands off, and then examined me. Besides, I did have an infection, I needed an antibiotic. And as typical in these countries, they prefer US dollars. They love US dollars cash. So that was one example. But then I was in Argentina. And I had the same thing happen. They took me to what was called the German hospital. And if you know anything about Argentina, they have a fair number of Germans over there. But that was kind of an ordinary experience. They gave me medication and such. But later, I was up in Venezuela, and I was about to leave to go back to Argentina. And the 3 of us were going back, found out we had been exposed to hepatitis. So, okay, what are we going to do? Well, we had the tickets. They said, we'll have somebody take you to get the shots as soon as you get there, and you'll be okay. Okay, we get down there, and they pick us up, and they drive us. I said, where are we going? He said, to the pharmacy. I said, why the pharmacy? Well, the pharmacist will give you the shots. And then I get there and I said, okay, each one of you, one by one, come in the back room, and the pharmacist will give you the shot. Obviously, it's in your butt, so you're dropping your pants. For somebody who have absolutely no idea other than the fact he dispenses drugs. But I got through that. But the one experience I had that was literally earth-shattering for me was in Yugoslavia. If you remember in 1990 to 91, we were in a little bit of a dust-up with the Iraqis, and our company was building a distribution center in Yugoslavia. I went there in December to assess the situation, and I thought that early, okay, now we'll do this sometime next year. I get back and they say, we like the plan, let's go with it immediately, fly back there the day after Christmas and get things started. So I'm there for what ended up into March, but in the meantime, in February, when of course things were heating up, I came down with a horrendous earache, the worst I had ever had in my life. I woke up on a Tuesday morning. I just told my partner who was working with me that I have to see somebody. And our general manager, whose name was Ranko Karanovic, said, I'll take care of you. And he said, I'll take you to the hospital. He takes me to this hospital, and it was snowing outside, a slushy snow sort of thing, just dirty snow. So we get in there, and we go into this hall that is just lined with benches filled with people, obviously waiting to see a doctor. Then he says, you sit there. I go talk to the doctor. I said, okay. And these people are all looking at me like, who's this guy coming in? And then the only other thing going on in that hall at that time was there was a mop woman who was mopping the floor because it was so wet. And as she went by me, I realized the bucket was black with dirt. She was taking a mop, mopping it wrong, keep on going, dump it back in the water, keep on mopping. She kept doing this back and forth while I'm sitting there waiting. After about 20 minutes, my direct manager came out and said, "Come with me." And I get up, and all the eyes are on me from the people around, because they've been obviously sitting there forever. And he takes me into this office with this doctor who had on the white coat, but he had a black turtleneck, and he had a cigarette going continually. And it was obviously one of the local tobaccos because it stunk like garbage. So he took a look at me. I didn't have a temperature. He looked at my ear. He said something to Ronco, and Ronco said, "Oh, okay." And he said, "What?" I said to him, "What did he say?" He says, "You'll be fine." They got a pan. I think some of you know what I'm talking about. There's curved pans. They had water. It had warm water in it. He gets out the syringe, that's a tube like about this. He fills it with water, and he must have said to the nurse, "Hold my head." He went and squirted. I thought he was going to be a nice gel squirt. He hit me like he had hit me with a sledgehammer. The term you've heard, seeing stars, I did see stars. I couldn't even feel like I could get off the chair without falling down. And before I had a chance to say what's going on, he takes the syringe, dumps it back in the water, empties it in the water, pulls more water out, it hits me again in the ear. And at that point, I was just googie-eyed. I didn't know what to do. And I said, "Ronco, what's he doing to me?" He says, "You'll be okay." And I said, "What do you mean, okay?" He says, "You don't need anything. Your ear was just stuffed so bad, you had to be cleaned out." And I said, "Well, what do I do now?" He said, "Go back to the room, take some aspirin, and you'll feel better in a while." And that was, to me, the most incredible situation of my life. Even now, when I think of that hospital, I only see it in black and white. It was like unbelievable. So that's what traveling internationally can be like.